do you want more?
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Mike.
You got him.
This is Ruben from KNAC. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you going?
Not too bad. Hey, I was just listening to the last record, Mad Gone World. I mean, what a fitting title for what's been going on. But it almost makes me wonder that you might have been had some inside information to something.
I mean, you know what? It's one of those things that my dad says we always see what we want to see.
Right.
Good or bad.
Yeah.
And some people can see the bad, you know, through the good. Some people see the good through the bad. Some people, everyone's got their own interpretation. But I think a lot of times what people see is based on what their agenda is.
Sure.
And I think when you remove your agenda and you see things equally, you know, you see the ugliness everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to pinpoint the ugliness and just put it on a particular one person for the blame. But, you know, it's one of the things that it's hypocrisy of people in the world. My dad always said, never become what you hate. And there's so many people talking about, I hate that stuff about this and that. I go, geez, you're just like the person
Right.
like, you don't need a name that you say you hate. You're just this other side of the spectrum, you know?
Yeah.
It's no different. I think that no one's learned from what they don't like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just try to be more of what is what I think is bad, you know, rather than try to, you know, take these are bad and say, hey, this is the way it should be, and find a realistic alternative, you know, that actually is viable, you know, and not just I'm the opposite. I'm not them, you know, but I'm going to be just as bad as them, just in a different, you know, philosophical way. So, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have a lot of stuff coming up here in the coming week. I mean, you have the new album, you know, still Cyco punk after all these years. With a second record with the current rhythm section, which includes Lombardo on drums. I mean, you got this tour coming up, and then we'll take it in order. But the last thing being the Converse deal that you have, which, knowing you, anybody that knows the history of Suicidal, I mean, you have a history with Converse being a consumer and stuff like that. So take us through those three things.
Well, let's start with Converse. I mean, you know, it's just today they announced that obviously things like this take quite a while to get all worked out, all the stuff done. But, you know, I have 3 kids, and they always love when Daddy, show me how many emails you got. And I'm like, phone. And it's like on Monday, they know, like, it starts up, and they'll be like, how many do you have now? You know, and today, you know, it's one of those ones that the messages just, you know, started lighting up in the morning and getting ready for school. Ding, ding.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, dude, I just saw the Converse thing. Oh, wow, you know. And, I didn't know about it. Why don't you tell me? So it's great to be able to do something you're really excited about. You want to tell the whole world, and then you know it's going to come out anyhow. And then when they find out, there's a lot of people that I like, respect, that are, you know, really excited about it too, you know, and just goes, oh man, that's so cool. That's, you know, so natural and good. And so it feels great, you know.
Real quick on that Converse thing before you move on to the next thing. How involved were you? I mean, you had final say on all this stuff and the designs and stuff?
Yeah, you know, the one good thing is it's always easy to work with people that it isn't work. And that's kind of what you know, once again, my dad always said, you know, when it's work, you know, everything is frustrating. The people at Converse there, a lot of them are people I knew way before they're at Converse. I knew them from other places or from, you know, skateboarding. My brother, you know, being a pro skateboarding, doing Dogtown skates, and a lot of people I actually like just ended up, they're all at Converse now, you know, too, which is really cool. Besides a lot of my friends that, you know, pro skaters and stuff that I really like. And I think that, you know, they're similar to us in the sense that they, you know, they obviously been around a long, long time. And they, you know, to certain people, they're more of a underground, you know, Nike owns them now, but they're more of the underground kind of thing than the big not that Nike's bad or anything
Right.
at all. But it's always think, oh, it kept that street thing, even though they're, pretty big.
Right.
And so they have, it's a logical extension. We fit in there. Everybody is like, it's funny, like I said, all these people are commenting, half of them are like, dude, I always do a Converse thing. I've been telling people, suicidal Converse, that goes hand in hand.
Right.
So it's one of those ones where people see it. It's not, one of those, I like to do left field stuff. Everybody does, to stir the pot, so to speak, but it's not one of those things. And so I it's one of those ones you feel really good about, and working specifically with them. They know what we are. We've been doing our thing for a long time. Same sense, they're not going, hey, what? I noticed you never done any pink and purple polka dots. Let's try to be the first ones that did the suicidal pink and polka dots, and and so it was very much in line when we had a conversation. We got all the people who talked, and went there and did very minor changes, little things and that, and improvements. They made it, I think I made some, and they made some improvements too. So, I mean, the bottom line with Suicidal is always said, hey, we don't make anything that we won't wear,
Right.
And that's why even with going back years ago, we kind of sell a lot of our clothing, which isn't easy in America anymore. It's expensive, but the stuff lasts. And you could buy, we always used, Dickies or whatever, because that's what we always wore,
Right.
rather than buying a cheap work shirt, that's not going to last and fit stuff. So we've always wanted to have stuff that obviously if we won't wear it, we won't do it. And if we didn't think it was, cool, we wouldn't be a part of it. So, I haven't got my pair. I'm supposed to get mine today.
Oh, man.
And I honestly remember the first pair that I got. I can't remember how old it was. It's birthday, and so I was so stoked to remember having them. And I'm going to be like that, that 10, 12, 11, 12-year-old kid again when I put them on. Really excited. These small samples are getting way too size small.
Did you work really hard at keeping those clean?
Oh, yeah, and my mom made a point because I actually wanted the white one. And no.
There you go.
And it was like, of course it rained like one of the first days, and I know I can jump this puddle, it's
Right.
like I got my Converse,
Yeah.
So it's funny,
And then the record, that's coming out on a week from tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, the 7th.
Yeah.
And then that you guys are also doing a couple like back-to-back like album, part of the tour, I think, but album release parties where you guys are actually playing an album in its entirety, if you want to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, so the Converse is coming out, or Suicidal Collapse coming out September 7th, same day as the record's coming out, still Cyco Punk after all these years. And so they're doing a pop-up store in Boston. Converse is from there. And so we were going, hey, it'd be great to do kind of an album release show or do like a special thing where we actually play the first record and the entirety. So we're doing that in Boston on the 7th and then the 8th in DC, and then for Riot Fest in Chicago on the 16th, we're doing that, and then we start in Phoenix on the 18th, and then we're just doing a regular tour.
In terms of going back to revisit the first album, I mean, how was that for you in terms of, was there certain things that kind of gave you guys a little bit of trouble in relearning certain songs, certain segments of the songs, or any of that stuff?
Oh, not at all. I mean, it's a really, the beauty of the first record, it's an attitude record.
Yeah.
It's not, there's nothing really complicated about it at all. It's believability, and I think that's why it's still there. It's a record that, we're not thinking about dragons and
Right.
and Vikings and dungeons and things like that. It's something that it's like my friends, they have their kids, they're young, they listen to it like they can relate to it. You know, the same, some people can, some people can't, but just as when we came out, and there's, I don't think it's, a lot of records are kind of like really dated.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, you listen to lyrics or something. So I think there's things that when you're young, you definitely relate to. And the only difference is obviously you got Dave Lombardo, you got people like that are much better and much more intense. So it just takes it to a whole nother level, and I think sometimes people try to stupefy and dummy down things and make it as simple as possible. That's, a lot of music I have felt in the past, where you have your little ballads and your little bands, don't want to offend anybody. This record is one that we play it live, and we play a lot of the songs live, but when we play it, all together, it's suicidal, and it's exactly what it is. It's unapologetic, it's hard hitting, and it's conviction, and I think that's the thing that a lot of bands that I've seen, not to sound bad, but that are older, been doing things for a while, it's habit. You go there, and we've recently done a number of punk rock festivals, and a lot of those people haven't gone to see us, wouldn't go to see us, and because they're in big festival settings, they're there, and you see all the people afterwards coming like, oh, I've been wanting to see it for 20 years and just haven't had a chance. Nah, you haven't had a chance. You didn't want it.
Right.
Whatever reason you were scared or this, or you thought it would be a certain thing. But I think...
I was going to say, with that, though, how much of that do you think it's the band name? Because even thinking back to, I didn't discover you guys till joined the Army and then went back and grabbed the first record. But how much do you think of that was the name? And, how do you handle kind of some of that blowback from some people that may not know that this is a fun, it's a fun band, energetic, punk influenced, I guess even skate culture band. I mean, how do you handle that? Because that might be part of it. I do believe that probably has been part of it, just in, from an outsider's perspective.
I think the bigger part is that music was very defined years ago, and you saw somebody, they're a metalhead, they're a punk, there's a very distinctive look. And people didn't really cross over, no pun intended, didn't do anything differently. And it was very like, we're metal, and it's like, come get metal, everybody just carried that banner. And they wanted to carry that banner to sell their bands and stuff. And when people saw a picture of us in a magazine, it was like, well, wait a second. It's a Sesame Street. One of these ones is not like the other,
Right.
And so if somebody... you have a band for 3, 5, 10 years, and you never heard the music or whatever, got into it, then it's hard to afterwards say, oh, wow, they're good,
right.
And so it's funny because that works out in our favor in Europe. We do the festivals. People will, you got suicidal stuff everywhere. And they may not go to the show, but the younger people be like, oh, I've seen people wearing that stuff. Oh, they're playing that festival. I'll check it out. So that outsider kind of thing has actually helped us continue to get young people because they're curious, because they're like, oh, yeah, I see a bunch of them kids wearing it. I've seen there's a bunch of people wearing that stuff. Whereas it used to be a lot of people would say like, dude, there was this kid on the street I lived, and he's screaming suicidal.
Right.
That's like, this guy's crazy, I don't want anything to do with that. And then later on, they get exposed to the band in a different way or something. They're like, that's suicidal? Oh, dude, okay. And stuff. So I think, when you have a lot of really hardcore fans too, that scares certain people.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah, right. But I think back because, when you guys did the Clash of the Titans, I mean, here in North America, we got Alice in Chains, and I think you guys did the Clash tour in Europe. And, I remember reading all this stuff in like Kerrang and all the import magazines, when they would do reviews and stuff. And it was just kind of like, you were saying that you guys didn't fit the stereotypical, hard and heavy band, look. But and reading all those reviews, I mean, they're going, man, I wish we would have gotten them. I mean, we did get Alice in Chains, which was great, but I think that would have been an awesome show as well.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the one thing about Suicidal is, and using that as a tour example, we've always done well where we've been exposed, where people have to see us and they judge us. When they judge us not for the music, we don't do well. Mm-hmm. But when we're there in an environment and people and, especially when there's multiple bands, festivals, etc., where they compare you, where they're, they go on to see their favorite band and then you do your thing, they have to sit there and go, well, there's some differences here. Mm-hmm. And they have to, analyze why they like what they like and maybe shock their system. So, same thing we did a year after that. In the States, we opened up for Queensryche, mm-hmm. and there was a lot of people before that happened. Oh my God, because Queensryche was the most played band in America on radio and MTV.
That was on the Empire tour too, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and so there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh my God," and it went over amazing. Right. Went from the point where, hey, and they only do one show to they asked us to do the second leg and then the third leg, but we couldn't do the third leg, but. You're playing in front of literally mainstream people, America, they went to, Johnny, hey, Daddy, you want to go see Queensryche? City? Right. And so they crossover, just mainstream as you could get. Right. And I mean, we did, I think it was 7 shows in North Carolina alone, because they're playing all the college towns, arenas and stuff. But every radio station played them. So it was a great thing. And so over the years, it's funny, you'll be random places and someone will run into you, and that's one of the big, dude, I was 14 years old, I went to see Queensryche, and I'm like, who is this band opening up? Oh my God, this is crazy. And that's when, we first got into the band, so it was a great situation. So, exposure, like I said, is a great thing. Where people aren't exposed to us, then they don't have the chance to make the decision. And then like I said, there's a chance to, for them to see that they don't like us, and you shouldn't be liked by everybody. If you are, then you probably are like candy, right? And you have long-term bad effects. Yeah.
Hey, I know we're running out of time. I just got like a couple things real quick, and then you can just blast through those, and then I'll cut you loose because I know you probably got lots of stuff. On the song Institutionalized, when you threw in that line about the Pepsi, how did that come about? And was it always Pepsi, or did that just fit better into the flow?
Well, all the things that kind of happened were basically happening. One of them was one of my friends, most of the parts, and he was kind of repeated, basically changed what he had said. But there's a whole lot of situations where my friends were getting taken away and sent out to those camps in like Idaho and things like that, and it was a really bad situation that would take a lot of time to talk about. But so yeah, it's basically all things that happened and put in the form about what was going on, and to me was trying to make the point, it's like, hey, parents, my dad said if you have to have a kid, you treat him like a puppy, he's going to grow up to be a dog. And you had a lot of people that really weren't being parents. Their kids are getting 13, 14, or 15, and they can't brag about them, so there must be something wrong with the kid. Mm-hmm. And they literally had these commercials like, does your kid get upset when things don't go their way? Mm-hmm. What's this? And they're like, yeah. Right. That's called being normal. Yeah. And they go, that's yes to 3 or more of these. They have a drug or alcohol problem. I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs, but it's one of those ones that, it's someone else's problem. Mm-hmm. Someone else created it, so someone else to take care of it. So, and I think the best thing about the song is the time now, and so many of my friends that were young that said, man, I have a terrible relationship with my parents, and they hear that song, and now that they have kids, they're like going, it's really important that they don't have that bad relationship, that they have the communication, and that they can actually remember when they listen to the song how they felt, and want to be able to avoid that with their kids. So time works in the good way sometimes too.
And just the last thing, this is probably the dumbest question you'll be asked ever, but did you ever try Crystal Pepsi, and what's your review on that?
You know what? I'm not a big soda guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we didn't have we were kids, and I don't really enjoy it. I'll drink a Diet Pepsi or whatever, this and that. But truth be told, I like Monster. Blue Monster.
Cool.
I actually drink stuff, but I do remember the commercials, and I do remember when it was there, and I do kind of think I remember that it didn't last very long.
Yeah. That's right. Unlike Suicidal. So,
yeah.
All right, man.
I think it was the clear one.
Yep.
That's so sad. How could something so clear taste so nasty?
Yeah. There you go.
So,
hey, man.
Look forward to season. Bye.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully you guys play in Portland here in the near future. I know there's no Portland date on here, but there's still time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
All right. I appreciate it.
Take care, man. Thank you.
You too. Okay. Bye-bye.